Okay, well, welcome to task management, the art of getting things done, command performance, as it were. Task management and time management are two sides of the same coin. In Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, he uncovers a thread that runs through every success story. This commonality, in Hill's words, is a burning desire to succeed. That is a focus on a vision that they work towards every day. Think of that to which you desire. What I mean is, when you wake up thinking it, spend your day thinking it, go to bed thinking it, you will have it. Now, this is extreme, sure, but for each of us, time is finite. To get the most out of life, time with our family, time with our friends, time to succeed in business, we need to manage our time. Now, I challenge you to live a life that inspires, not just others, but yourself. Focus on your dreams and make those dreams a reality. Being aware in a moment of strength, it's easy enough to say you're going to do it. But without the proper tools, a roadmap to keep you on track, when life throws obstacles in your way, you will lose focus. So before we talk about focus's nemesis, the 1,000-pound gorilla in the room, let's grab a pen and paper. Yes, I did just say that. Pen and paper. No computer notes. And we're going to have some fun with it. You'll be sending a picture of your pen and paper results in by text. So let me know when you're ready to continue. Just chime in on the chat side that you're up and ready to go. Love this slide, by the way. Okay, let's take a look at this 1,000-pound gorilla. Distractions. In a recent BBC study that cites in the year 2000, the average adult's attention span was 12 seconds. Now, come on, that is bad. And as of April 2017, down to 8 seconds. Incredibly worse. This is 1 second shorter than a goldfish. The same tools that we use to build our business, email, social media, YouTube, surfing the web, will send us on a course of inactivity. The intention of this discussion is to give you the tools that you need to keep on task. There are a lot of instructors out there who are good at each aspect of running a dojo, but never quite reach their dreams. That's because being good at what you do is not enough. You need to start each day by making a plan. Come on, let's face it. Would you follow a general into war if when you asked him the battle plan, he said, we're kind of good at what we do, so we're just going to wing it? No. Wars are won in a series of battles called objectives. Each objective is defined. The outcome and contingencies are planned. So this is a battle plan to start each day with defined objectives. It's a super simple step that will transform your life. This is in concept obvious and easy, but in reality it takes discipline, and only the truly hungry will do it long enough to create a habit. You're going to do two types of planning sessions, monthly and daily. Once a month, you will look at your written goals and create a master list from each goal. This master list will populate in your daily task list. I like to do this on the first Sunday of each month, but the first time you do this with a new set of goals or evolutions, it might take an hour or so. But if you put that hour into perspective, it's a small price to pay for achieving top performance. For me, the monthly planning takes about 15 or 20 minutes because I only add a new evolution every few months. So I use this time to reflect on my goals and add and remove tasks based on my new position and knowledge. Reaching a goal isn't like a straight line, like throwing a spear at a bullseye. It's more like a zigzag pattern as you adjust based on feedback and learning. Daily. Each day you will spend 10 to 15 minutes on your day plan, preferably the same time and in the same place. This will help you anchor the habit. Start by reviewing your written goals. Then you'll review your previous day's list, review your calendar. Items for this week will be inserted, And then from your master list. But wait, you're not done. Go over everything you just did and contemplate the day's events. Take a moment and run through your completed list. See yourself doing each task and checking it complete. Now, I don't need to sell a bunch of martial arts instructors on the power of visualization, but just in case I do, that ought to do it, right? Okay. Let's look at a goal and lay out a master list. Here's where you get to use that pen and paper. If you already have a goal or evolution from Trent's webinar, you can use it now. If not, you can use mine or create one of your own. Objective or evolution, whichever term you prefer. Maintain a social media campaign that will generate leads and act as a resource for potential and existing customers to learn how we add value to our students' lives. Dojo Facebook page at 1,000 likes, we're right around 720. Instagram, 300 followers, we're a little over 100. Twitter, 300 followers, we're well below 100. And increase Google Plus presence. Now, I do realize that increased Google Plus presence is obscure, but I need to learn more about Google Plus before I lay out my objectives on this. And you'll see how that in my master list, I set myself up for that. So now what I want you to do is I'm only going to give you about a minute on this. Write down 2 to 5 things for your master list that you need write down 2 to 5 things that you can do to reach your objective from this and creating a master list. So just a couple things that'll help you reach your objective. That wasn't 60 seconds, but we're moving on. Here's mine for this. Create posts daily and share across platforms based on personas. Ask current customers to follow and like. Comment on others' posts and write blog posts. Share on social media from web page. So I'm going to write blog posts on my web page and share it across social media. That's my action list. Now I need to create a skills development list. All the information is out there and I want to become an expert on it. So when I review my objective next month, my action list will change along with my interaction goals for each of the platforms and a clearer definition, obviously, for Google+. Each objective is unique. Here is mine for this objective. Now, when I say for each objective, this is unique. What I mean is, for social media, I found that there's blog posts and YouTube, and there's a couple pretty good books out there as well that I've read on it. So these are your resources to, as Stephen Covey says, sharpen the saw. But for each, it's different. You might look to a mentor if it's for one of your objectives in the dojo. It just depends on how you want to sharpen that saw. But here's the one I came to for this one. Read blog posts on how to build Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Google+. Watch YouTube videos on how to build Facebook, Instagram, and Google+. All right, so let's turn over our list. On the other side of the page, we're going to create our daily task list. Okay, we're going to start each day by reviewing our written goals. Don't skip this step. This is a test. Don't skip this test. No, excuse me. Don't skip this step. It only takes a few minutes, and with daily attention, your goals become reality and well-defined. Now, look at yesterday's list. Move over anything that did not get done on the previous day. If you don't have a list for yesterday, just think of something that you meant to get done and write it down now. Look at your calendar and add any tasks that this brings to mind, like upcoming events or somebody's birthday or whatever that may be. Now, think about things that you might be responsible to get done. This is often stuff delegated by other people. and also keeping your dojo clean, that kind of stuff. And here's the part that will propel your performance. Go to your master task and make sure at least one from each objective evolution is on your list. Don't worry about adding too much to your list. What you don't get done gets moved to the next day. This act of moving and reprioritizing these tasks keep them in front of you. Also, don't spend too much time trying to remember everything that you need to do. Throughout the day, as you realize something that should be on the list, you'll just add it. So here's what my current list looks like. I've got my daily task list. I just want you to go through, and hopefully you've written at least 3 or 4 things by now on your daily list. If not, just fill that in. And we'll move over the tasks from the master tasks that we're going to complete today. And it really is just that simple. Right now, I have an action list for today. If you do this on a daily basis, I promise you that your performance will propel. Even if it's 15% better on a consistent basis, just imagine what that will look like in a year's time. So the next part is prioritizing our tasks. Prioritizing is as easy as A, B, C, and 1, 2, 3. The items that are most important to you and must be done today, you're going to give them an A. Go down your list, and all of the things that you absolutely must get done today, give them an A. Now the B's are things that you would like to get done today. And the C's are things that you're probably doing every day and could possibly delegate. Okay, you'll notice that on my list, there's usually a good group of A, a good group of C, and a small group of B's, because either everything I absolutely must get it done today, or it's something that I do every day and can possibly delegate. Okay, now we start with our A's. And we're going to prioritize our A's 1 through, on this one, it happens to be 1 through 5, right? So we're going to look at our list and say, okay, what is the number one most important thing I must do today? Well, for me, it's this one. But then I'm going to go through and chronologically, in ascending order, mark each one. First the A's, then the B's, then the C's. Now, we have our list, but just making a list is half the battle. We need to work it. The first step in working your list is the last step in creating it. Review your list and create a theater in your mind where you see yourself completing each task and checking it off. Now, here's a code. So actually back to that. The theater in your mind where you're going through and seeing each item and checking it off. This will be a very powerful tool going forward as it becomes part of your habit. And the next portion is going to be making progress, marking your progress, working your list. Here's my legend, basically. A dot means I'm working on it. An arrow means I've moved it over. When I get a task delegated to me, I put the initial and circle it. If I delegate a task to someone else, same code, initial and circle, and then a check mark when it's completed. So let's look at our daily task list for today. Clean the bathroom, I delegated to SD. Teach bag drill number 3, I delegated to DH. And actually call Vinny about the thing was delegated to me by CM. And you'll notice on the right, I have notes. So when you look at my list at the end of any given day, you'll see that it's laden with notes on the right side. I use this area for notes, and it's a very handy tool when you're looking back on stuff to have all of your notes. So now when I go back to see if the bathroom was cleaned, I'll ask Stephanie, and by the way, SD stands for Stephanie Dixon. She works in our office. DH is Dave Howard. He's one of our trainers. And everybody knows CM is Cheech Mariner with Cheech and Chong. So as I go through this list during the day, I'm going to check off things as I get them done, right? And when I'm working on something that's going to take a little bit of time, I'll dot it when I start working on it, right? Because then when I glance at my list again, I know exactly what I've already gotten started, right? I get called away. I might come back and check something else off because I don't have enough time to do these, but then I'll go back and go through and check everything off my list. Now, the arrow, kind of moved a little quick through that. The arrow is actually for the next day. So my list is completed right now, minus that arrow. I didn't put that in yet, obviously. My list is completed right now. And tomorrow, when I go to my list, I'm going to look at it and I'm going to see that clean the bathroom wasn't done. Buy ink for printers not done. And I didn't comment on the other's Facebook post. I never got that far, right? I didn't complete that task. So I'll arrow them and move them to the next day. When I do that, I'll put a date signifier to show what date I moved it to. And this is a step that I would recommend that we do. Sorry about that. This is a step that I recommend that you do, add that date. I just did it again. Anyway, once you have that done, this is actually, now you have that done, this is your daily task. My brain got thrown off there for a second, sorry. So when you're doing this, don't expect to be perfect. If you read Benjamin Franklin's autobiography, he actually has a day plan in there, one chapter on his planning of the day, which is really an interesting read. What his day looked like, and amazing how he scheduled. I mean, he scheduled thought breaks. But at the end of that chapter, this is his quote: "I was surprised to find myself much fuller of faults than I imagined, and satisfied and had the satisfaction of seeing them diminish." And the reason why that's so powerful to me is because I have exactly the same experience. I started task management when I was new with United Studios in 1987. I moved to Utah and was working under Dave Lenton. Dave bought me my first day planner and taught me how to use it. And Dave is really good at follow-up. He would randomly show up at my dojo. We had a Friday meeting that was absolutely mandatory, Friday workout and meeting. And in both of those occasions, he would always look through our day planners. And he would find that, I don't have to tell you, he would find that I would miss days. And whenever he would find that, it was physically painful, right? And Dave had enforced discipline. You could count on the fact that he was going to look at it, and you could count on the fact that it was going to be a bad idea not to have it done. But even in the fear of death, I missed many days on my way to my current habit. But thanks to Dave's consistency, I created the habit that I now have, and it's served me for decades now. And I've thanked him for a lot of stuff that he did for me. I don't know that I've ever specifically thanked him for this, but I will make it a point to do that. So in today's climate, we really don't have that enforced discipline from our mentors. So what I'm going to recommend on this is that we do have accountability partners. So the first A1 task on your list each day will be to communicate with your accountability partner on your current list and how you did on yesterday's list. This will help motivate you to stay in a forward direction. Okay, so now what I want you to do, my phone number 702-278-0098, is send me a photograph of both sides of your page, the daily task and the master list you did. I want that for a number of reasons, but the main one is to help us develop these programs moving forward. So when I look at what everybody was able to do during this, it's going to help us help me modify my future webinars. And I also am looking for feedback on the webinar. And if you have any questions or want some help with it, you can either contact me, text, phone call through that phone number, or email. And at that, I'm just going to do one more section here where we're going to talk about platforms. So for someone just starting out in task management, I can't recommend high enough doing a handwritten method. Okay, there are a lot of good programs out there. There's technology out there that will help you with your task management. But the power of the pen and paper is you're actually writing down what you want to get done and checking it off. And there's a lot of power to that because it locks it in your mind. When you use the digital formats, they automatically forward or you move them over, but either one, it isn't as manual, it's not as much effort. So the lack of effort often helps you to put it off for another day, and before you know it, you've missed a week. That's the experience that I had when I first attempted to move digital. For those of you that are insistent on moving digital, out of the web app list, I'm going to recommend Asana. That way, all of those that insist on being digital will all be on the same platform and we can work together on those. So on the other side, we have authors, Never Stop Reading. There's some books there for you. And also, you know, if you do YouTube searches, you can find some great tips there as well. So I'm going to open it up for questions. Anyone have any questions? Just raise your digital hand.